You've seen the claims. This penny is worth $1 million. This quarter can make you rich overnight. But is it true? The truth is, most of it is completely fake. Exaggerated prices, misleading hype. That's what we're here to expose. Welcome to Rare Coin Collecting. We reveal the real value, real history, and true rarity of coins that actually matter. From wheat pennies to rare state quarters. We cover it all with facts, not fiction. We explore coins in detailed series, one country at a time. And right now, we're focused on rare US coins. Subscribe now and discover the truth behind the coins. Are you ready to uncover some of the most valuable coins hiding in plain sight? In this video, we're revealing the truth behind 12 incredible coins. And trust me, you won't want to miss a single one. These aren't just any ordinary quarters. Some of these coins have sold for thousands and others are waiting to be discovered in your own collection. But here's the thing. 5 of these 12 coins are life-changing. Yes, you heard that right. These 5 coins alone have the potential to change your financial future. But don't think the other 7 are just average. They are rare too. And their value may surprise you. Whether you're an investor, a collector, or someone who's just getting started, by the end of this video, you'll know which coins you need to look for, and more importantly, where to find them. We'll expose the truth behind these coins, including their highest selling prices, hidden errors, and why they're in such high demand. Condition is everything, and we'll show you exactly how to spot the rarity in these coins. Get ready for some shocking revelations. These coins are out there. They could be sitting in your drawers, your old piggy bank, or even mixed in with loose change. Now I'll give you a hint. One of these coins has been sold for over $2,000, and that's just one example. Wait till you see what we're about to uncover. But there's a catch. You won't find out the prices or the life-changing coins until we dive deep into the details. So, don't go anywhere. Make sure to watch all the way through, and let us know in the comments if you have any of these rare finds. Let's get started. They told you it's just another state quarter. One of the 50, one of billions. But if you've got the Tennessee state quarter with an S mint mark, you might want to take a closer look. Because believe it or not, some of these have quietly sold for hundreds, even over $1,000 in the right condition. The problem? Most people don't even know this version exists. And those who do, they often don't know what makes it special. Let's set the stage. In 2002, the U.S. Mint released the Tennessee state quarter as part of the 50 State Quarters program. The design was musical. 3 instruments crossed in harmony. A fiddle, a guitar, and a trumpet. A nod to the volunteer state's deep roots in country, blues, and rock and roll. It's beautiful. It's cultural. It's bold. But here's what most people miss. While millions of Tennessee quarters were released into circulation with P and D mint marks, the S mint mark tells a different story. These weren't meant for everyday spending. They were minted specifically for collectors. Part of the proof sets made in San Francisco. Now proof coins are in a league of their own. They're struck differently and twice. Sometimes more, with polished dies and special planchets to give that mirror-like finish. And when you see one, you know, the details pop. The contrast between the shiny fields and frosted devices is stunning. That's what a real proof coin looks like. But not all S-Mint coins are created equal, because the Tennessee S-Quarter came in 2 versions, clad and silver. Today, we're focusing on the clad version, which is often overlooked, and that's a big mistake. Because while silver proofs naturally get more attention, it's the ultra-high-grade clad proofs that have stunned collectors. Let's talk numbers. The U.S. Mint struck around 3 million clad proof Tennessee quarters in 2002. That might sound like a lot, until you realize how many were mishandled, stored improperly, scratched, toned, or just never graded. In fact, only a tiny fraction have been graded as PR70 Deep Cameo, the perfect grade. And that's where the value starts to climb. We'll get to those actual prices in just a moment. But first, let's talk about what really makes a proof quarter valuable. First, it has to be perfect. Not nice. Not shiny. We're talking flawless under magnification. No blemishes, no haze, no micro scratches. Only coins graded PR69 DCAM or PR70 DCAM make the cut in the market. Second, deep cameo contrast. Without that sharp contrast between the mirror background and the frosted design, the coin won't catch a collector's eye. That contrast is everything. Third, certification. Collectors want PCGS or NGC labels. They trust them. And when a PR70 slab shows up, especially from an older proof set, the bidding war begins. Now let's talk real-world prices. A 2002 Tennessee clad quarter graded. PR70 deep. Cameo by PCGS has sold for as high as $690. Yes, it's for a clad quarter. Another one, same grade, sold for $625. And even a PR69 decam, depending on the label and market timing, can bring $50 to $100. That's a huge jump from 25 cents. But here's the best part. You might already have one, because these coins often sit in broken proof sets. They get tossed into change jars. They're mixed in with common coins by people who don't know what they have. So here's what to do. Go through those old proof sets from the early 2000s. If you find a Tennessee quarter with that shiny, mirror-like surface and an S mint mark, check for cameo contrast. Hold it under a good light. If it looks perfect, not good, but perfect, it may be worth grading. Now a warning, don't clean it, ever. Cleaning destroys proof coins. Just submit it as is to PCGS or NGC and let the professionals evaluate it. And when it's time to sell, list it through reputable platforms. Heritage auctions, Great Collections, or eBay with a graded slab. You'll get more eyes, more bids, and much more confidence from buyers. At Race Coins, we're not here to feed you hype. We're here to tell the truth, the facts you need to spot real value in your collection. We break down what makes coins valuable and why so many people get misled. Because coins like this, the ones hidden in plain sight, are where the real treasure lives. And remember, the next coin in our series, let's just say, it might be worth even more than this one. And if you've got proof sets from the early 2000s, you won't want to miss it. So watch the next video, like, subscribe, and stay with us here on Race Coins, where real collectors learn what truly matters. This quarter looks ordinary at first glance, just another silver proof from 2002, but beneath the clean finish lies a coin that some collectors are quietly hunting down, and others are unknowingly undervaluing. So let's dig deep into the 2002 Ohio silver proof quarter, and by the end, you'll know exactly why this coin might just belong in a serious collector's vault. It starts with the design, a tribute to Ohio's legendary status as the birthplace of aviation pioneers. It features the Wright Flyer soaring behind astronaut John Glenn. That mix of early flight and space exploration tells you everything you need to know about Ohio's place in history. But here's something most people miss. The design isn't just symbolic. It's backed by real aviation milestones, like Dayton being the hometown of the Wright brothers, and the fact that more astronauts have come from Ohio than any other state. Now this coin was minted only in silver proof sets, meaning it's made of 90% silver and 10% copper. That composition alone gives it intrinsic value beyond face value. But there's more. The 2002 silver proof sets had a total mintage of just 29, and that includes all 5 quarters from that year. So if you're only after the Ohio silver quarter, the number of untouched high-grade examples is far lower. Let's talk about condition. This coin was never released for circulation. That means every example comes from a proof set, often stored in climate-controlled environments. Yet not every coin grades equally. Even among proofs, small imperfections, spotting, or haze can appear. That's why collectors will pay a significant premium for coins that earn a PR70 decam grade from PCGS or NGC. That's proof. 70 deep cameo. It's as close to perfection as a coin gets, and very few Ohio silver quarters hit that level. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Auction records show that in top grades, this coin has commanded impressive premiums, especially during times of silver price spikes or numismatic booms. We won't name exact numbers here, but let's just say, if you had this quarter sitting untouched in a drawer, you'd probably want to take a closer look. What about fakes? While it's rare, there are listings online for so-called silver state quarters that are actually clad. They're either misrepresented by sellers or worse, altered. The only real way to confirm authenticity is by checking the weight and verifying that the coin came from a genuine U.S. Mint silver proof set, or even better, getting it slabbed by a trusted third-party grader. But here's something most collectors don't realize. Demand for silver state quarters, especially individual coins like Ohio, is growing not just among U.S. collectors, but international buyers too. Countries with strong space programs like India, Japan, and even Brazil have shown rising interest in state quarters that celebrate space and technology. That makes coins like this a potential sleeper investment. And let's not forget the emotional connection. For Ohioans, or for families connected to aviation or space travel, this coin represents something more than silver. It's a story in their pocket, one they're willing to pay for, especially in pristine condition. Before we close, let's clear up one last myth. There's a lot of hype online, suggesting every silver-proof state quarter is rare and worth hundreds. That's just not true. The value depends on condition, grading, silver markets, and collector demand. But coins like the 2002 Ohio Silver Quarter, with its iconic design, low relative mintage, and silver content, do stand out in the crowd. If you're serious about coins that combine American history, beautiful design, and real collector value, this is one to watch. And if you want more breakdowns like this, covering the real coin facts with zero hype, you're in the right place. This is Rare Coin Collecting, and we're building a trusted hub for investors, collectors, buyers, and sellers who care about authenticity and knowledge. Subscribe for more deep dives, and never miss a coin that could change your collection. Some coins tell a story, others sing it, and this one? It does both, literally. This is the 2002 Tennessee Silver Proof Quarter, and what you're about to discover may change the way you see state quarters forever. You've probably seen it before. 3 musical instruments on the back, a fiddle, a trumpet, and a guitar. It's not just artwork. It's a tribute to Tennessee's powerful influence on American music, from country and blues to jazz and rock and roll. Cities like Nashville, Memphis, and Knoxville each shape the nation's sound, and this design brings them all together. But there's one version of this coin that collectors chase harder than most. The San Francisco Mint Silver Proof Edition. Struck in 90% silver, this proof wasn't made for pocket change. It was part of special collector sets, released in 2002, with incredibly limited numbers, just 892, 229. Total silver proof sets were made that year. That includes all 5 quarters of the year. So the actual number of high-grade Tennessee silver quarters? Much lower. What makes this coin even more desirable is its finish. These proofs were struck with polished dies and treated specially to produce the mirror-like fields and frosted devices that collectors love. But not all were created equal. Many developed hazing, milk spots, or scratches over time, even inside their original U.S. Mint packaging. That's where third-party grading comes in. Coins certified by PCGS or NGC as PR69 DCAM or the elusive PR70 DCAM are the ones collectors are willing to pay top dollar for. And yes, some of these coins in perfect condition have sold for surprising premiums at auction. We're not throwing around wild numbers here, but if you find one with a flawless surface and deep cameo contrast, it could absolutely be worth a second look or a certified submission. Here's another twist. The Tennessee Silver Quarter's popularity isn't just domestic. International collectors, especially from countries with deep musical roots, are starting to discover this design. And as the global coin market continues to grow, coins with cultural resonance often outperform pure rarity. So where could you find one of these coins? Start with silver proof sets, either from online auctions, estate sales, or even tucked away in older family collections. You might be surprised how often people forget about these boxed U.S. Mint sets from the early 2000s. And if you find one, here's what to do. 1. Don't clean it. That destroys value. 2. Weigh it. Silver proofs weigh slightly more than their clad counterparts. Inspect the surfaces. Look for any frost on the devices and mirrored fields. 4. Consider grading. If it looks perfect, it might be worth sending in. Remember, not every Tennessee silver proof quarter is rare, but in the right grade, with the right presentation, and to the right buyer, it can become far more than just a beautiful piece of silver. And that's why we do what we do here on Rare Coin Collecting. This isn't just about flipping coins or chasing hype. It's about understanding real history, real demand, and real value. So if you're a collector, investor, buyer, or seller, and you care about authentic, trustworthy coin knowledge, you're in the right place. Subscribe, explore, and keep watching. Because the next coin we're about to cover might just be the most underrated sleeper of them all. They say it's just a regular 2002 Ohio quarter with a Denver mint mark. You've probably seen dozens of them. But now, some people are claiming this coin is worth thousands of dollars. You've seen the YouTube videos, the wild eBay listings, and the social media hype. But is it true? Could this little quarter from Ohio actually make someone rich overnight? Well, here's what you need to know. First of all, the Ohio State Quarter was part of the U.S. Mint's legendary 50 State Quarters program. Released in 2002, it celebrated Ohio's contribution to flight, featuring the Wright brothers, airplane and astronaut imagery, honoring both Orville and Wilbur Wright, and Ohio-born astronaut John Glenn. The design is striking, it's bold, it's patriotic, and yes, it's collectible. But here's the part no one's telling you. Most Ohio quarters, even the ones in decent shape, are only worth face value. That's right. Unless you know exactly what to look for, you're just carrying around 25 cents. So what makes some of these Ohio D quarters suddenly pop up for hundreds, or even thousands of dollars? It all comes down to one thing: rarity combined with condition and very specific errors. We're talking about certified mint state coins, unique misstrikes or hard-to-spot die varieties. And these aren't coins you'll find in every handful of change, but they are out there. In fact, some of the most valuable Ohio D quarters have come from regular people. Someone finding a perfect uncirculated one in a drawer. A collector who noticed a double die on the astronaut's arm. A sharp-eyed seller who picked one out of a dealer's junk box. And the real kicker? Many people had no idea what they were holding. Now let's slow down and talk about the key things that make certain Ohio D quarters actually worth serious money. First, mint condition. If your coin is scratched up, circulated, or dull, it's probably not what collectors want. But if it's sharp, shiny, and has that mirror-like luster, I bet you're in business. The top-grade coins, we're talking MS67 or higher, as graded by PCGS or NGC, are where the real money lives. These coins are nearly flawless, and even small bumps in grade, from MS65 to MS67, can mean hundreds of dollars in difference. Second, errors and varieties. Now this is where things get interesting. There have been reports of die cracks on the Ohio D quarter. Some coins have slight doubling on the lettering or Wright brothers plane. Others show weak strikes or off-center designs. And in the coin world, these quirks, especially when authenticated, can send values soaring. But don't rush to judgment. Not every weird-looking quarter is an error. That's why professional grading and third-party verification are everything. Because it's the official certification that collectors trust. And that's what drives up the auction prices. Now let's get to what everyone wants to know. How much are these coins really selling for? Ohio quarter graded MS68 by PCGS, once sold for over $100. That's not hype. That's recorded auction history. Another example, also MS68, fetched $895. And multiple MS67 examples have sold between $100 and $250, depending on eye appeal. But remember, these are top-of-the-line coins. Most quarters in circulation don't even come close to MS66. That's why people go crazy over uncirculated rolls, hoping to find the one perfect piece hiding inside. Now here's the part you need to hear. Coins like this could be anywhere. In an old roll from the bank, in a forgotten jar in your garage, in a box of coins your grandfather left behind, and yes, sometimes in your everyday pocket change. But unless you know what you're looking for, you could miss it. So what should you do if you think you found one? First, don't clean it ever. That will destroy its value instantly. Next, compare it to high-resolution examples on PCGS or NGC's website. And if it looks promising, submit it for grading. A small investment now could pay off in a big way later. And when it's time to sell, auction sites like Heritage Auctions or a certified dealer are your safest bet. Don't fall for flashy listings or fake Facebook offers. Do it the right way. At Racecoins, our mission is to give collectors, investors, and everyday people the real facts. No hype, no lies, no clickbait. Just honest, researched information to help you make smart decisions in the coin world. And here's your final tip. The next coin in this series might be even more valuable than this one. It's already shocked collectors at auction, and it could be sitting in your house right now. So if you care about coins, don't miss what's coming next. Be sure to like, subscribe, and check the rest of our long videos here on Racecoins. Your treasure hunt starts now. Some coins look ordinary, some even feel common. But every now and then, a coin slips through time carrying something extraordinary, a piece of history, rarity, and value that no one expects. That's exactly what happened with the 2002 Ohio Silver State Quarter. To most people, it's just another quarter from the 50 State Quarter series. But for those who know what to look for, this version has stunned collectors and auction houses. And if you've got one sitting in a drawer, You may be holding a coin worth hundreds, or even more. But before you rush to check your stash, let's break it all down. The Ohio quarter was released in 2002, the 17th coin in the state quarters program. Its design celebrates Ohio as the birthplace of aviation pioneers, with a vintage airplane and astronaut silhouette floating above the outline of the state. It's a clean design, but that's not what makes it valuable. The version we're talking about today was never meant for circulation. It's the S-Mint proof silver quarter, struck in San Francisco and made from 90% silver. That alone gives it an edge over common quarters, not just in appearance but in value. Proof coins like this are created with special care. They're struck multiple times on polished dies using specially prepared silver planchets. The result? A flawless, mirror-like surface that reflects light like glass, with sharp frosted details that almost jump off the coin. It's a thing of beauty. And because these were only sold in special collector sets, most people never see them in the wild. They never touch circulation. But over the years, sets got broken apart. Coins got separated, misplaced, mishandled. And that's where opportunity sneaks in. Now let's talk about rarity. In 2002, the U.S. Mint produced roughly 82,000 silver-proof Ohio quarters. Not bad, right? Well, here's the thing. Very few of those survive in perfect condition. We're talking about the elite grade, PR70 Deep Cameo. Flawless, under magnification, no marks, no haze, no imperfections. Only a tiny fraction of those nearly 900,000 coins ever reach that level. Most grade PR69, PR68, still good, but not top dollar. And that brings us to value. But we're not revealing the biggest prices just yet. We're going to build up to it, because there's something more important first. Condition is everything. That silver-proof quarter in your drawer? If it has any fingerprint, scratch, or surface mark, that's value gone. This is why grading matters. Collectors and dealers alike trust third-party grading companies like PCGS and NGC. When your coin is sealed in a slab, labeled PR70 DCAM, that's when it becomes gold. Not literally, but you get the point. So if you think you have one of these, don't clean it, don't rub it, don't even breathe on it. Handle it by the edges, wear gloves if possible, and get it graded professionally. Let's now get to the juicy part, real auction sales. A 2002 S Silver Ohio quarter, graded PR70 Deep Cameo by PCGS, has sold for $805 at public auction. Another one? It went for $765, and that was just last year. Even a PR69 DCAM can go for $30 to $80, depending on market demand and the slab label. These are not guesses. These are real sales, from trusted platforms like eBay, heritage auctions, and great collections. Still think it's just a 25-cent coin? Now here's what most people miss. These proof coins often show up in unexpected places. People inherit them and don't know what they are. They end up in coin jars, jewelry boxes, attics, basements, or mixed with regular coins. You could find one in an old family coin set, or in a batch someone's selling at a garage sale, or even misidentified on eBay, where some buyers have gotten lucky by spotting silver proofs listed as common quarters. So what should you do? First, go through your proof sets. Look for the Ohio quarter with an S-Mint mark, mirror surface, and silver edge. Confirm it's silver as not clad. Check the contrast. If it has deep frosted devices and crystal clear fields, you might be looking at a high-grade candidate. Second, consider grading. PCGS or NGC are your best bet. The grading fee may cost a bit, but if your coin comes back PR70, it's more than worth it. Third, don't get fooled by fakes. Some people try to polish regular coins to mimic proofs. A true silver proof has weight, shine, and detail that can't be faked. Buy a cheap scale if you're unsure. Real silver proof quarters weigh 625 grams. And last, when you're ready to sell, list it where real collectors are watching. Avoid shady Facebook buyers offering pennies on the dollar. Use eBay, great collections, or heritage auctions for serious value. At Racecoins, we break down real value, real history, and real sales. No hype, no fake millionaire stories. We do this to help you make smarter collecting decisions and avoid being misled by internet myths. This silver quarter may not change your life, but if it's perfect, if it's graded, if it's rare, it might just surprise you with what it's worth. And remember, the next coin in our series, let's just say some collectors are calling it one of the biggest hidden gems of the 2002 proof lineup. Make sure you watch that next video right here on Racecoins. Subscribe, like, and check your collection. you might already be sitting on something special. Some quarters just scream ordinary. No shine, no story. But others? They hide in plain sight, tucked away in old purses, change drawers, or pocket jars, waiting to be discovered for what they truly are. That's exactly what happened with the 2002 Tennessee State Quarter. Most people pass it off without a second thought, but the real ones, the sharp-eyed collectors, know that not all of these coins are the same. Some carry secret value, some are nearly flawless, and a very few, well, they've sold for way more than just 25 cents. And one day your pocket change might too. Let's break it down. The Tennessee State Quarter was released in 2002, the 16th coin in the State Quarters series. The design is a tribute to the state's deep musical heritage. 3 instruments cross the face: a fiddle for bluegrass, a guitar for country, and a trumpet for the blues. And right above them, 3 stars, a nod to the state's 3 distinct regions. It's a beautiful design. But here's the truth. Beautiful doesn't always mean valuable. So why is the 2002 Tennessee Quarter attracting attention today? It starts with volume. Over 286 million of these coins were minted at the Denver Mint. That's a massive number, so yes, most of these coins are still only worth face value. But here's where things start to change. Condition, rarity, and errors. Out of those 286 million coins, only a tiny fraction survive in high-end mint condition. We're talking about coins graded MS67 or MS68 by PCGS, which means sharp detail, no scratches, and perfect eye appeal. Those coins are what collectors crave, and when demand meets rarity in that condition, prices go up fast. But that's not the only path to value. Let's talk errors. Some 2002 Tennessee quarters have been discovered with off-center strikes, die cracks, or doubled dies, especially around the instrument strings and lettering. These kinds of errors turn a common coin into a collectible almost overnight, and they can happen without the mint even realizing it. But what makes this coin especially interesting is how condition-sensitive it is. Because so many were minted, almost all were used, passed around, tossed in jars, dropped on floors, scratched, dinged, worn out. So when a coin from this batch turns up uncirculated, sharp, glossy, and untouched, it becomes an instant standout. So how do you know if yours is one of the rare ones? First, check the mint mark. It should be a bold D for Denver on the obverse. Then look at the coin's fields. Are they clean and smooth, without fingerprints or haze? Are the design elements fully struck and bold, especially the strings on the instruments and the tiny state details? No contact marks? No scratches? Then you're in good territory. But if you're unsure, don't guess. Grading is everything. PCGS or NGC are the gold standard. You send in your coin, they examine it under magnification, and if it comes back graded MS68, you're looking at something way more exciting than pocket change. And now, here's the moment you've been waiting for. What are the real prices these coins are selling for? At public auction, a 2002 Tennessee Quarter graded MS68 has sold for as high as $2,585. Another copy, same grade, pulled in $1,527 on great collections. Even coins at MS67 level have sold for $150 to $300. And that's with visible bids. We're not talking about rumors or hype. These are real verified sales, backed by PCGS population reports and auction history. Still think it's just a 25-cent coin? Now imagine this. You're cleaning out an old storage bin, flipping through a stack of loose change. And there it is, a glossy 2002 Tennessee Quarter that somehow stayed untouched for 20 years. That's the story behind more than one lucky collector's discovery. And the only difference between them and you? They took the time to look. So here's what you should do next. Start with your home. Look in kitchen drawers, glove compartments, attic boxes, and junk drawers. Don't ignore that old change jar that's been sitting for years. You never know where an uncirculated quarter might be hiding, especially if someone once broke apart a collector roll or a mint set. It happens more than you think. If you find a shiny example with a Denver mint mark, don't clean it. Handle it by the edges. Store it in a coin flipper sleeve, and consider having it professionally graded. When it comes time to sell, don't take it to a random shop. Use trusted platforms like eBay, Heritage Auctions, or Great Collections, especially if it's graded and documented. At Rare Coin Collecting, our mission is simple. We cut through the myths, we expose the hype, and we show you what actually matters. Not what TikTok says is worth $1 million. Real coins, real value. Real facts. And yes, real opportunities. So whether you're an investor, a collector, a reseller, or just someone who stumbled onto this channel by accident, remember this. Every coin has a story, but only a few carry value. If you're lucky, and smart, you just might find one of them. And don't go anywhere yet. The next coin in our series has quietly broken records and might just be sitting in your pocket right now. Watch that video next only on Rare Coin Collecting. Hit subscribe, check your change, and never stop looking. This isn't just another shiny quarter from a mint set. The 2001 Kentucky Silverproof quarter may look like just a commemorative piece, but behind that glossy surface, there are rare, high-grade examples that have sold for prices no one expects from a 25-cent coin. Not long ago, one of these sold for more than $1,000. And most people still don't even know what to look for. They just toss it aside, thinking it's like the rest. But if you have one, or ever come across one, this could be a moment worth remembering. Let's talk about what makes this coin different. First, it's part of the State Quarters program, released in 2001, to honor the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And like the rest of the series, it features a beautiful design, the Federal Hill Mansion in the background, and a thoroughbred racehorse front and center, looking through a white picket fence. It's a tribute to Kentucky's racing legacy and Southern charm. But here's what makes this specific version valuable: the S mint mark and the silver content. This isn't just a regular coin from circulation. This one was struck at the San Francisco Mint, and it's a proof coin, meaning it was made specifically for collectors, using polished dies and specially treated planchets. The finish is mirror-like, with frosted details that stand out in sharp contrast. And unlike the standard copper nickel-clad versions, this one is 90% silver. Already that puts it in a whole different category. But not all proof coins are equal. The U.S. Mint produced a little over 89,000 of these silver proofs in 2001. That's a small number compared to hundreds of millions in circulation. Still, many were stored safely. So what matters now is condition and grade. To stand out, your coin needs to be in flawless proof condition, graded PR69 or PR70 deep cameo. Those are the highest designations given by grading services like PCGS and NGC. Most silver-proof coins don't hit PR70. Just a few hundred examples might make it to that perfect score. And those that do, they're extremely desirable. But here's the twist. Even in pristine condition, some coins are simply more appealing to collectors. Why? Tiny factors, like strong cameo contrast, perfect centering, and zero flaws under magnification. If your Kentucky Silverproof checks all the boxes, you're sitting on something serious. And yes, there are known sales to back it up. But before we get to that, let me say this. You can't just find this coin in pocket change, but you can find it in estate sales, inherited proof sets, flea markets, and antique boxes. Sometimes people break up the sets and toss the coins loose, or they don't realize the silver versions exist. If you ever see a 2001 Kentucky quarter with a sharp S mint mark, and it feels heavier or shinier than usual, don't ignore it. Flip it over, look at the finish, check the rims, and if you're not sure, and get it graded. Now, let's talk money. This Kentucky Silverproof quarter graded, PR70 decam by PCGS, sold for $150. Another one reached $19.95 on heritage auctions. Even PR69 decam examples have brought in $40 to $70 consistently, depending on timing and buyer demand. Those aren't made-up prices. Those are verified public auctions. So yes, something worth a quarter face value has brought four-figure checks to its owners. But here's the key. It all comes down to condition. Scratches, spots, fingerprints. That drops the value fast. So if you think you have one, handle it by the edges. Don't clean it and store it in a non-PVC flipper capsule. Now you're probably asking, how do I sell it? Start with grading. Send it to PCGS or NGC, especially if it looks flawless. Once it's slabbed, you can list it on platforms like eBay, grade collections, or heritage auctions. Never sell blindly to local dealers unless you've done your research. At Rare Coin Collecting, our goal is to give you the truth. No fake hype, no empty claims. Just real facts backed by history, data, and real-world sales. That's how you win as a collector and investor, or just someone looking to make a smart move. And here's the best part. The next coin in this series has shown up in regular homes, not just proof sets, and it's brought in serious cash. You might already have it and not even know. So hit subscribe, check out that video next, and don't forget, Coins like this are still out there. Sometimes the rarest ones are sitting right where you left them. What if I told you there's a Kentucky state quarter that was never meant to circulate, and yet it's ended up in people's hands? Coin jars and drawer bottoms, completely overlooked, and some of these have sold for hundreds of dollars, even though they were originally struck just for collectors. This is the 2001 Kentucky clad proof quarter. At first glance, it might seem ordinary. The same racehorse behind a white fence, the Federal Hill Mansion in the background. But this one's different. It wasn't struck for daily use. It was minted specifically at the San Francisco Mint for collector sets, and it carries a sharp S mint mark, and most importantly, it has a pristine proof finish that sets it far apart from what you'd ever find in circulation. Now here's what you need to understand. This isn't the silver-proof version. This is the clad version, made of copper and nickel. But still, its rarity and value can surprise you. Why? Because when it comes to value, it's not just about silver content. It's about condition, grade, and demand. And this coin hits all three when it's in the right state. These S-Mint clad proofs were minted in relatively low numbers. Just under 3.1 million were produced. That may sound like a lot, but for collector coins, it's small, and fewer survive today in perfect condition. Now think about this. Many people break apart mint sets without knowing what they're doing. Coins get scratched, spotted, or exposed to moisture. But if your 2001 Kentucky quarter is still in flawless, mirror-like condition, you might be looking at a valuable piece. The trick is knowing what to look for. You want a coin with deep cameo contrast, where the design elements are frosted and the background is deeply mirrored, and you want a grade of PR69 DCAM. Or, if you're really lucky, a perfect PR70 DCAM. But here's something most people miss. Even if a coin looks perfect to the eye, it could still fall short at grading. Tiny imperfections under magnification, a small nick, a faint haze, can lower its value by a lot. And on the flip side, one coin graded just a notch higher can be worth 10 times more. So let's talk numbers. You'll find graded PR69 examples selling steadily between $15 and $40. But a PR70 DCAM, those are a different story. They've sold for up to $275 or more, depending on market conditions, auction timing, and collector demand. That's for a coin that originally cost under $5 in a proof set. These values are real. They come from eBay sales, PCGS price records, and auctions like Great Collections. But they only apply to coins in top condition. Now here's the kicker. Some of these coins have shown up outside their original packaging. How? Estate sales, broken proof sets, old boxes sitting in garages, grandparents who kept coin gifts from the US Mint and never touched them again. So here's what to do. If you come across a 2001 Kentucky quarter with a sharp mint mark and it looks unusually glossy, do not spend it. Don't clean it either. Just protect it. If it seems flawless, it might be worth grading by PCGS or NGC. Once it's slabbed, and especially if it hits that PR70, you can sell it online for real collector prices, list it on eBay, or submit it to auction houses that specialize in modern proof coins. Don't let a local buyer lowball you just because it's a non-silver proof. At Rare Coin Collecting, our mission is to break through all the hype and bring you authentic, collector-backed knowledge. No fake price tags, no clickbait, just the truth, backed by data and results. This Kentucky proof isn't the rarest coin in the world, but it's exactly the kind of overlooked opportunity that rewards patience, detail, and knowledge. And you know what? The next coin we're covering has even more surprises. With one version that's nearly impossible to find in perfect shape, but sold for a price that'll blow your mind. So if you're a collector, investor, or just someone who wants to get real value from coins, stay tuned. You never know where the next treasure might show up. A drawer, a shelf, or an old gift box from decades ago. But once you know what to look for, you'll never look at a quarter the same way again. Most people look at a 2001 Kentucky State quarter with the P mint mark and don't think twice. It's just another coin from pocket change, right? Wrong. This little quarter has shown up in some of the most unexpected places and under the right conditions. It has sold for shocking amounts, not just once but multiple times. And yet, the vast majority of Americans walk right past it. This is where the story begins. The Kentucky quarter was the 15th release in the U.S. State Quarters program. It celebrates Kentucky's rich heritage with a racing horse behind, a white fence and the Federal Hill Mansion, the inspiration for my old Kentucky home. The design is elegant, traditional, and for many nostalgic. But beneath that charm lies a collector's trap. Why? Because not all Kentucky quarters are created equal. And the Philadelphia Mint, where this coin comes from, produced a massive number of them. Over 353 million coins. So how does a coin from such a huge mintage become valuable? That's the twist. The value doesn't come from the mintage numbers alone. It comes from condition, strike, and most importantly, errors. Now hold on. We'll get to the jaw-dropping auction prices. But first, let's talk about what collectors are actually hunting for in this coin. It's not just any shiny quarter. For the 2001 Kentucky quarter, the most valuable examples fall into two categories. First, those that are certified in extremely high grades, coins that look flawless even, under magnification. Second, quarters that feature rare minting errors that were never meant to leave the mint. And here's the thing, most people can't spot these things without knowing exactly what to look for. So if you're holding onto a Kentucky quarter with a P mint mark, flip it around. Check for any doubling on the letters, especially on the word Kentucky or e pluribus unum. That's what's known as a double die error. Some of those have sold for real money. Another thing to check, off-center strikes. If the design is shifted away from the center, or if parts of the text are cut off, that's a big deal. Collectors pay huge premiums for error coins like that, and the further off-center it is, as long as the date and mint mark are visible, the higher the value can go. Let's talk grades. The majority of these coins are heavily worn from circulation, but if your coin looks sharp, like it was just minted yesterday, then you may have something. Coins graded MS67 and higher can be quite rare. Some MS68 examples, that's almost perfect, have sold for over $1,000 at auction. Yes, $1,000 for a regular-looking Kentucky quarter. Now here's the kicker. One error version of this coin, a dramatic clipped planche error, sold for more than $2,300. That's not a rumor. That's documented through major coin auction listings. But most people just see these coins as change. So where can you find them? Right in your house. Check old jars, desk drawers, look under couch cushions. Ask your parents or grandparents. These quarters were everywhere in the early 2000s. And many people tossed them aside without thinking. And if you find one that looks unusual or in perfect condition, don't clean it. That will destroy its value instantly. Put it in a protective sleeve or a coin capsule. Then, and this is key, check recent sales on eBay or consult the PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, price guide. If your coin looks flawless, send it in for grading. Graded coins hold more trust and command better prices from serious buyers. So what happens if your Kentucky quarter turns out to be the real deal? You can list it on eBay, submit it to an auction house, or connect with coin dealers through verified platforms like Heritage Auctions or Great Collections. But whatever you do, don't rush. Learn what you have, know what it's worth, and price it accordingly. At Rare Coin Collecting, our mission is simple, to bring you the truth, not the hype. Yes, some YouTubers say every coin is worth millions. That's not us. We show you what really sells, what collectors actually want, and how you can avoid being fooled. If you're just starting your journey with coins, the Kentucky P quarter is a perfect example of why knowledge beats hype. With the right eye and a little patience, you could turn a common-looking coin into a valuable find. And remember, this is just the beginning. The next coin we're covering has a documented error. That's so rare. Most collectors have never even seen one in person, but it sold for a price that shocked the entire coin community. So if you're a buyer, a seller, an investor, or just someone who loves the thrill of hidden treasure, stick with us. At Rare Coin Collecting, we're revealing the facts, not the fluff, and the next coin might just be sitting in your pocket right now. If you've ever seen a Kentucky State quarter with a D mint mark, chances are you didn't think much of it. Just another piece of change from 2001. But what if I told you some of these coins have sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars? And many of the people cashing in weren't even collectors. They were just regular folks who happened to notice something strange about a coin they almost spent. This is the 2001 Kentucky quarter from the Denver Mint. And it's not just a symbol of Southern pride. It's a hidden gem. Let's set the scene. This quarter was part of the iconic 50-state quarters program, launched to commemorate each U.S. state in order of statehood. Kentucky, being the 15th state, had its coin released in 2001, and its design stands out. A racehorse, a white fence, the Federal Hill Mansion, a reference to my old Kentucky home. But what really matters to collectors is what's beneath the surface. You see, while over 370 million of these coins were minted in Denver, not all of them are equal. In fact, the overwhelming majority are only worth face value, but a tiny percentage contain errors, strike anomalies, and unusually high-quality strikes, and that's where things get interesting. So what kinds of things should you be looking for? Let's start with condition. If you have a Kentucky D quarter that looks brand new, no scratches, sharp edges, clean luster, you're already ahead. Quarters graded MS67 or higher are incredibly hard to find, and some of those pristine examples have fetched serious cash at auction. But that's not all. There are error coins from the Denver Mint that collectors are actively chasing and paying up for. One such example? A dramatic off-center strike. These coins are easy to spot because part of the design is missing, pushed toward one edge. The further off-center, while still showing the date and mint mark, the more valuable it becomes. Another one, clipped planche errors. If a small crescent-shaped piece of the coin is missing from the edge, it could be worth far more than 25 cents. But the big one, the one that gets dealers excited, is the double die. These are coins where some part of the design appears doubled due to a misalignment. During the minting process, look closely at the word Kentucky, or the phrases my old Kentucky home and e pluribus unum. If you see any signs of doubling, don't ignore it. You might be holding something rare, and here's where the numbers come in. People online are saying this Tennessee quarter is worth thousands, and some even claim it could make you rich overnight. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, part of it is, but part of it isn't, because some of these Tennessee quarters really have sold for jaw-dropping prices. And what's wild is that most people still don't know why. This is exactly why you can't trust every flashy claim on social media. The truth behind the Tennessee state quarter is more fascinating, more detailed, and way more valuable, if you know what to look for. Let's get into it. The Tennessee state quarter was released in 2002 as part of the U.S. Mint's legendary 50 state quarters program. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 280 million of these coins, with the P mint mark on the obverse, just under "In God We Trust." But quantity doesn't mean common. Not when certain rare types slipped through with unnoticed errors, or came out of the presses in nearly flawless condition. The coin's reverse design honors Tennessee's rich musical legacy. It features a fiddle, a trumpet, and a guitar, all crossed in front of a music score and a banner, reading musical heritage. It's a tribute to the state's deep influence on country, jazz, and blues music. But ironically, it's the physical condition of the coin, not the music on it, that hits the highest note with collectors. So what exactly should you be looking for? Let's break it down. First, condition. Most coins from circulation are scratched, dinged, or just plain worn out. But if you stumble across a Tennessee quarter that looks untouched, with clean surfaces, crisp edges, and full original luster, that's your first signal. Coins like these can earn grades like MS66, MS67, or even MS68 from professional grading services, like PCGS or NGC, and in this case, the grading isn't just for bragging rights. It can mean hundreds or even thousands of dollars in value. But here's where things get even more interesting. Some 2002 Tennessee quarters have been discovered with minting errors, the kind that coin collectors absolutely love. One of the most dramatic, off-center strikes. These happen when the blank metal disc, called a planche, isn't properly aligned during the strike. You'll see part of the design shifted to one side, sometimes with a clean, empty crescent along the edge. And depending on how far off-center it is, and whether the full date and mint mark are visible, these coins can become incredibly valuable. Another major one? Clipped planches. That's when the planche was improperly punched at the mint, leaving a small curved chunk missing from the edge. These can be easily missed by the average person, but not by a trained collector. And there's more. Some error coins feature die cracks, cuds, or even double dies, where the image appears slightly double due to a misalignment in the minting process. These are subtle, but they matter. A doubled United States of America, or even a small distortion in the musical notes, can turn an ordinary coin into something auction-worthy. Now this is where people start asking the big question. Is this hype? Or is it real? Here's the truth. And it's based on actual data. A 22P Tennessee quarter graded MS68 by PCGS, a level of quality that's nearly impossible to find in everyday change, sold for more than $2,500 at auction. Another Tennessee quarter with a dramatic off-center strike fetched over $900. And here's the best part. These coins weren't found in ancient collections. Some were pulled straight from circulation or change jars at home. So don't underestimate your pocket change. Which brings us to this. Where should you even start looking? Start with what's already around you. Old piggy banks, coffee jars, car cup holders, drawers, forgotten containers of coins, and especially from older relatives or estate items. People throw these quarters around like they're nothing, but in the right condition or with the right error, there's something big. And if you think you found a good one, here's your next move. Don't clean it. That alone can destroy its value. Handle it carefully, store it in a coin flip or capsule, and get good, clear photos. Then visit sites like PCGS, NGC, and eBay, sold listings to compare. If your coin really looks special, submit it for grading. That's what turns a maybe into a definite, and it lets serious collectors take interest. Then you decide how to sell. eBay for quick visibility, or try heritage auctions or great collections for bigger returns. And here's why this matters. At Rare Coin Collecting, we're not here to feed you hype. We're here to open your eyes to the real, verifiable, auction-backed value behind U.S. coins you already own. The 2002P Tennessee quarter is just one of many state quarters that can surprise you. And the next one we cover, it might look even more ordinary, but it's sold for even more money. Stick with us. Subscribe, hit the bell, and check the comment section for direct links to our other deep dives. We're on a mission to teach coin collectors, investors, and everyday Americans how to spot what's real and how to turn it into something valuable. Because that next coin could be right in your pocket, and the next story we tell might just be your own. People online are saying this 2002P Tennessee quarter could make you rich. Some even claim it sold for thousands. But is that the full story? Not quite. The truth is, there are Tennessee quarters out there that really have sold for shocking amounts, but only under specific conditions most people overlook. And that's where the opportunity lies. The 2002 Tennessee quarter was released as part of the 50 State Quarters program, and it celebrated the state's rich musical heritage. That's why you'll see a fiddle, a trumpet, and a guitar on the back of the coin, with a flowing banner that reads Musical Heritage. It's a beautiful design, and the symbolism is strong. But it's not the artwork that gives this coin value. It's the quality, the errors, and the condition. Let's get one thing clear. Over 280 million of these were minted at the Philadelphia Mint. So yeah, they're common. But here's what most people don't realize. Out of those millions, only a tiny percentage ever left the mint in pristine condition. And even fewer made it out with serious mint errors. That's where things get interesting. First, let's talk about condition, because condition is everything. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, and once you cross that MS66 line, values start jumping fast. But when you get into the MS67 or MS68 range, especially for high population coins like this one, the price can skyrocket. Why? Because collectors want the absolute best examples, the top few coins known to exist. Now imagine finding one in your own stash. It happens more often than you'd think. We've seen Tennessee quarters pulled from old piggy banks, coffee tins, glove boxes. And when those coins show full original luster, sharp strike and no visible damage, that's when they catch the eyes of professionals. But beyond perfect condition, the real goldmine lies in mint errors. And the Tennessee quarter has some of the best. One of the most notable is the off-center strike. When a coin is struck off-center, part of the design is missing or shifted. And depending on how far off-center it is, and whether the date is still visible, the value can jump into the hundreds. Next, clipped planches. That's when a piece of the coin is literally missing because the blank was incorrectly cut. They're rare, they're easy to miss, and collectors absolutely love them. You might also find die cracks, where the coin looks like it has raised lines due to cracks in the minting die. Or doubled dies, where parts of the lettering or design appear to be stamped twice. These are subtle, but they're real, and they can make a coin go from 25 cents to a few $100s real quick. And this is where people ask, but are these coins actually selling? Let's break it down. A Tennessee quarter from the Philadelphia Mint, graded MS-68, sold for more than $1,300 at auction. That's not a guess. That's from PCGS auction records. Another example with a dramatic off-center strike fetched nearly $900, and here's the kicker. Both of those coins started as loose change. This is why the condition, the error, and the grading matter more than anything. So what should you be doing right now? Search, and not just your wallet. Go deeper. Look through old jars, glove boxes, desk drawers. Check with older relatives, anywhere coins might have been thrown and forgotten. Because if you're lucky enough to find a Tennessee quarter that hasn't been damaged by time, there's a real chance it could be worth submitting for grading. But don't clean the coin, ever. Cleaning ruins the surface and destroys the value. Use soft gloves if needed and place the coin in a 2x2 flip or capsule. Once you think you found a valuable one, compare it to listings on eBay, especially sold listings, and review photos on PCGS or NGC's population and price guides. If your coin matches those top-tier examples, it's time to get it graded. After that, you can list it through eBay, heritage auctions, or great collections. Now here's why we're doing this. At Rare Coin Collecting, we're not in the hype business. We're here to deliver the real facts, the truth behind these coins. We've spent time digging through auctions, historical data, population reports, all to make sure you know what actually matters. Because the coins worth thousands, they're not just rumors. They're out there. You just have to know how to spot them. And that's what we're here to teach you. And the next coin we cover, it might be even more shocking than this one. So if you're a collector, an investor, a buyer, a seller, or even just someone curious about coins, subscribe and check the link in the description and comment section for the full breakdown of other rare state quarters. Because we're just getting started, and your next coin might already be hiding in your house, waiting to change everything. Now I know, you've heard people throw around wild coin values online, but this isn't hype. We're talking real auction data. A Kentucky 2001D, quarter graded, MS-68 sold for more than $1,500. Another coin with a major clipped planche sold for over $1,200. These are verified sales, not rumors. And most importantly, they weren't coins pulled from a dealer's display case. They were found in circulation. So ask yourself, how many of these coins have passed through your hands? And more importantly, could one still be sitting in a jar, drawer, or box at home? Here's what you should do if you find a 2001 Kentucky D quarter that looks different or too perfect. First, don't clean it. That's the biggest mistake beginners make. Cleaning removes patina and drops the value instantly. Instead, handle it by the edges. Store it in a coin flip or capsule, and take high-resolution photos. Then compare it to recent sales on eBay, heritage auctions, or even the PCGS price guide. If it looks like a match, send it for grading. A certified grade boosts credibility and can mean a much higher sale price. Grading companies like PCGS and NGC are trusted by collectors, and if your coin comes back as MS-67, MS-68, or higher, or with a certified error designation, you're sitting on real value. So where do you sell it? eBay is a fast way. But if it's rare or certified, auction houses like Great Collections or Heritage might get you more serious buyers. And if you're unsure, connect with a local coin shop, but always do your homework first. At Rare Coin Collecting, we're committed to cutting through the noise. Our channel exists because too many people are being misled with empty promises and clickbait coin videos. We show you real value, real examples, and the actual steps to evaluate, protect, and sell your coins. And here's the best part. The 2001 Kentucky quarter isn't the only one out there hiding in plain sight. Some of the state quarters released just before and after have exploded in value due to specific mint errors that most people still don't know about. The next coin we're covering, it's already made headlines, and its highest price paid was more than 5 figures. No exaggeration. So if you're serious about learning the truth, building your coin knowledge, and maybe even turning pocket change into something big, stay with us. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Because here at Rare Coin Collecting, we bring you the truth, not the hype. Your next valuable coin could be just one step away. Let's find it together.